Figure it was a little dull today. Is that the way you jump in? Tell everybody it was dull? A doll? You're playing with dolls? Doll ours? Ours? Angel Resident Service. Up to meet you. I am the price you pay. I come in as one and I leave as none. But everything reminds and remains in your memory of thought. The reminder, the remainder of what the thought is, goes up into the star. So what I wasn't valued today, I am only in your memory forever and ever. If you want to let me go, you can let me go. But usually we store a lifetime of memory until it repeats itself. And then that's the size of the memory we need. 512 energy of alpha beta to come into the 60 seconds of the clock of 5, 1, and 2 in the 8th world. 8 and 5 by 2 is 10. 10 and 8 JH. The Jew heaven. The Jewish heaven. Why? I'll tell you later if I remember. Okay, so now we stored everything into the star. We've used all the memory and all the possibilities except for the split of an instinct, in which will seem different because the name of the horse was different. So you'll take the situation and the name of the horse, you'll put it into that area, but everything will remain the same. Oh, did I tell you? A Chinese man come in. He wants to give me food, Chinese food. Man comes knocking at my door, and I'm going, who in the world is this? I look outside, there's a small little guy, he looks up at me. His eyes were slanted. Right away, boom, it reminded me of my cats. He says, you make an order. I go, no. I says, but you want a cat? He says, oh, he says, I deliver the order. I take them all chop suey for supper tonight. Why are my cats going to the bathroom and making poopsies in the toilet, well, next to the toilet and in the bath? They won't go to the cat litter. Anyways, what I did want to say is that Oregon, 1889, the one spirit of the pool. I need to know when the pool game was made. Okay, in order for some of these numbers to reflect on different ways, I want to know if pool came before or after. Because I know man's spirit, one spirit of 6 came before. But the one spirit of 9 could be the intrusion with us. That might be the intrusion. What I call 3 times 4, 3 plus 4, or 1 times 9, 1 plus 9, might be the intrusion, because it becomes 10 and 9, which is 5 times 2 and 3 by 3. Again, the 4 is missing. Now, I just said, what did I say 2 seconds ago? I don't remember. But this is the Oregon State on Valentine's Day. And now, when was Valentine's Day first instated? Because on February 14th, 1889, the 33rd, okay, 33rd, the Christ state, the ore, the gold of the energy gone one. 7th gate approach was connected through Oregon. How far is Oregon from Lake Mead is now the question. Or the Arizona train. Can a train go from Arizona, New Mexico, all the way up to Oregon? Oregano is another reason why we have to remind ourselves. Oregano. Now let me get to something else. Not only oregano, but the H and the A both have a significant expression towards number 4, 9, 8, and 1. A is 1. A equals 4, and A equals H. Okay, and I'm going to try and explain this to you. I'm going to design it and then show you. First of all, here's the reason for the beginning of the train track. You see the way it starts to go further and further, and then all I have to do that, and you think it's going all the way over here. What happens when I write my rectangle, because square ain't real, you want a square, you can make a square. But if you want to make something over height versus vertical horizontal, this is what it's going to look like. Okay? So in order for this hole to work, this is only one world. I need the A to reach out. Area 1, area 2. 1, too high. Center is bigger than the sides. Square, square, rectangle. It's just the way it works out. Now this rectangle is going to go between here and here. on the bottom. It will not go into the center. The center is a square. We have to make the shape of the rectangle. So we'll take this and we'll put it down here. We'll call this the in-between world. Let's say it's 285. Let's say it's 852. Let's say it's just 85 or 52. I don't care. But this A, when you look at it, if you take off one leg, it becomes a 4. If you chop off the head, it looks like an H. If you slant the line too much, like this, you might draw the N. We just give the goalpost. You see the Y? You see the 4 that I got in here? Right here? One line from the A, the other line. All I do is extend. But if you want to know where I can extend to, okay, I can extend. Now I got the I. Now this I has to drop all the way down to here. It can go a maximum number of squares over and a maximum number of squares down. I don't know what it is. Now I have to put that thought into the games people play in order to see a little bit more. So we now know, and not only that, because I saw something on the ground today, it looked like a 4, but also the 4 is also a jack. And the jack, okay, is the 10th letter in the alphabet. But since it's 0, 1, okay, let's say that it's actually the first letter in the alphabet, or the 0 letter becomes the jack. Just like the 0 in Chandeline, okay, the 0 becomes the Y. In craps, when they play craps and throw the dice, Jen, okay, yo, 11, always Y with O, always Y with O. Is it because the ends, there's 3 ends to the Y, okay? One is a straight line. It's the DNA ranking on the Y letter. You know, the Y goes like this, and then the line across. That cannot be done in a square. It has to be done like this. This is one way to do it. Why? Because you see the corner to corner? This one went corner to corner in 1 square. This one corner to corner in 2 squares. Corners, corn on the cob. Another way to grab a niblet, an extra bite, or take an arm off to make it something else. In the Aleph, the A letter, it goes this way in Hebrew. And I use 1, 5, and 9. On your keyboard, this is 3, 5, and 7 connecting to 1. But you don't connect to 1 because in between the square, okay, you see the square? In between this dot here and here, you'll be released over here to this square over here. Okay? Now I'm going to try to explain that. If this was number 5 in the center, if this whole center was number 5, because it's the dog pound, right? This tic-tac-toe ends square only in the center. Everything else you don't know, because if it reconnects somewhere, it'll extend the line, and to any normal eye, you'll see something different, or you'll be missing something. This can only create the X if I break this line. Why would I make 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks? If I made 4 individual marks, do you know what happens over here? This is what happens. All these bars become separate. This goes in between. If you can't make a bar separate and it must be 2 bars in a row, then it must count for something as maybe the ruler, AB making C, because once you put a dot, you have 360 rounds. But the minute you put a line, you got the front end, you got the back end, and you got number 11 in between because it could have been a ruler, spirit angel of man. Soul angel, soul angle of man, the soul, the whole light, the whole kit and caboodle. So this would join. You take a stick and you join it in here, and a stick and join it in there. And I think I have a picture on my phone. I did a little shopping and I saw some new dog treats. So let's see. Can you see this first of all? You can't. Okay, that was my car saying 16, 1 and 6, 7, 7, 7, 7. 16 is not like anything else. 16 blows up the light. 16 is where the 0 is. That 1 in 16 is what goes in the middle of the 3 and 3 on the 6 dice. That 1 in the center is more than anything you'll ever have, you'll ever know. They're different light holes. To light up the house, 381. 3 times 81 is 243. Let's go back to jail, the 24 hours of man, in which 8 and 6 represent the 10th end world that he is solely within. Because one of these 3 worlds, or it's the dog pound and there's a square, but all the way around the rectangle. And don't forget, if we take a rectangle, we can put two squares in it. And if we don't overlap, we'll have separate corners in each one. In fact, we'll have 4 separate corners in each one. Because the minute you overlap something, this is what it's going to look like. You automatically have an extra corner. You have the corner value here, you have the corner value here, plus you have the corner value over each other. Let's say this is the passage. Assuming this is the 9 or the 3, the 1, this is the 1 and 3 position, or this is the 7 position. If this was on this side, it would overlap the 9 position. You see the way it leaves out the 9 position? And then we'll put another one here. And then it'll leave out the 9 position again. And it'll move over here, leaving out the 9. So does that leave me dead center? I don't know yet where to go with it. I just come up with these crazy ideas. They might work, they might not. But you know something? Somebody was telling me the other day that why do you do that? Is it because you're Jewish that you always talk with your hands? And I said to her, what are you talking about? Do I ever talk with my hands? I don't know. My God, eh? Ay, 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 ay. Okay, let's get back into the other thing where A and H come together. Okay, now there's something else involved in this. We were talking about 1 and 9. 1 and 9 being very special because in 1889, 18 is special, 19 is special, and 88 is special because we never play 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2, as I mentioned before, if I can remember that I didn't forget, is inside of 8 and 9. 1 is inside. 4 times 2 is inside of 8. But 4 times 2 plus 1 is what creates the 9 heart. But you can't add just 1. If you're going to add 1, you might be adding 1 moon, Earth moon. You might be adding 2 Mars moons, but you're adding 1 heart. The H, in between, the draw stick that goes between the 2 sides. H and H, the 1 and 2, the 1 and 2, 4 times 2 equals 8. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, plus 1, 5, equals to 9. It's 150 that goes together because in the heart, where the light comes up, in area 5, it's the ace hole. 150, 15 creates 6, 0 creates 6, we have 6, 6, and 6. We have one of the 6's as a 1 plus 5, 6, which equals to the 6. Of the 2 plus 4 equals to the 6. 2 times 4 equals to the 8. That's where area 51 comes in the heart hole. Now, no one's ever been able to, or I've never been able to, my cat's running around with one of my papers. So we've never really went on this. And remember, the watering hole. The watering hole is where you watch the news and where you make the news every time you walk into the clubhouse. It's a ladies' night. It's a diamond affair. I guess we're having a party at the golf club. But what do they call the watering hole after 9 holes of play? But you could have been playing the first 18. The first 9 of the 18, or will you start off on the back 9? One, 2, 5, 0, 4, 2, 8. 1889, February 14th. The 45th day of the year, call me the fox, plus 14 equals to 59, part of the Einstein theory. Why? Because everything that is with 5 and 9 is eternal, because Einstein must have built something that was eternal by creating the world in creating what he taught the world as the Big Bang theory, TH, time, heaven, EORY, the split omega of the 2 eggs, how they're controlling one side of our hemispheres, and the side of the hemisphere they control, one of them has to be free. They can't have one of them. I'm quite sure. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. Maybe they don't have the center one, the last decision. But one spirit, one soul, they mix them together, and we have to decide within between. But they have created one more world for us. Somehow, it's either the media type and it doesn't touch us, or it's actually reality that our number is somewhere in a cell, in a computer right now, and they can type anything they want, and hopefully it's, you know, it's hit and miss. I know it's hit and miss because that's the expression, hit and miss. It hopefully echoes within your mind, 2, 3, and 4. Comes off a 3 from the 2 cassette into the 4. 1 2 world, 1 Mars world. Mars is 4, this one's 2. Make the 8, it becomes right here. If you make the 8, why does it come right here? 4 and 4, this way and this way. I don't know how it works. Maybe it comes up from below, up your backbone. Ooh, I feel funny on my spine. So the worlds come together, and there's 1, 1, and 1, which is 1. Actually, it's 1 and 2. And because of the moon, so I still have to understand Mars has 2 moons. Moon equals 57. Now I have to know the number of the name of the moon of Mars. That's what I have to do next. That's why I really enjoy watching Eminem, and I know when I talk to you, Jen, I know when I talk to you, I know I press too much. I talk too much. I'm so full. I want to spread out. I need to share, and I feel like I'm going to share. And not that somebody else is going to learn, but somebody else might learn and help me. I can help them, but I have to just lay back. I don't want to change anybody's thinking, and I'm definitely not trying to change anybody. And I'm just starting to learn this Chandeline and this Python, and I can't find the C yet, but I don't care what the names are. I just want to remember everything. Just remember. Just remember. Imagine if you could remember everything. And you'd be able to remember every single number on every single letter and every single combination of letter that would go together, let's say up to a 6-letter word or 7-letter word, okay, not including S at the end or ER, because those are combinations. E and R is number 23. R and E is number 23, except R and E is actually 9 and 3, 23, in which E and R is 5, 23. Because the E is in front of the R, don't switch both. What do you have to? You already know if E is 5 and the total is 23, you know the next one is 18, 6, 6, and 6 between 5 and 9, 6, 6, and 6. 5 to 6 is your 11 of your 9, because your 9 can't go any higher. He only can go 1 lower, so all he does is tilt to the side. His I becomes an H, and you wouldn't know the difference because you were too far away to judge what angle he was on, so be careful when you drive. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Let's have fun. We are on a countdown to a date for me, which is October 4th. Now, I'm not sure what's supposed to happen, but something's going to happen this year to the fact that the majority of the population that didn't know about the world that we see, all of a sudden are going to open their eyes and say, oh my God, what's going on? But they still won't see our world. Not until our world starts to lighten up, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like us. And you know what you have to do to be like us? Just ask a question to your own self and answer it. Look for things that don't make any sense or coincidences. Oh, it's a coincidence. Well, study it. Check it out. But far most than anything else, be kind and speak the truth. If you cannot speak the truth and cannot speak, then do not speak at all. Be silent and let the others respect your silence. For sometimes it's the silence, not only without and within, that brings on most pleasures to companionship. So there should actually never become that part within. That should never happen, but it does, and it will. You laugh it off, as long as you know you're not better than anybody else, but you don't have to let anybody else pull you down. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Disregard the last 3 minutes. I don't like to sound like a philosopher, but that's what it looked like I was trying to do. Something like saying, I know this is the way it should be. No, I'm just thinking in my mind. I made these videos to go up into a star system so I wouldn't forget, and if I did forget and I knew I really needed to remember, I would start watching all my videos. Then I figured or thought, and maybe that somebody else would watch them and remind me before I even forget to remind myself. Therefore, sharing all of this brought the star system, and all of a sudden, I'm talking to myself, and now there's other people who are with us. So now it's more than just a my star, it's more or less an all-star. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Disregard all the stupidity of mine. Thank you.